Hi, I'm Neil Sackmary.
Hi, I'm State Trooper Sean Hagstrom with the Nevada State Police Highway Patrol Division, PEIO. Please stay tuned for the next episode of Trooper Talk.
And together, we can make a difference. Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios for this edition of Trooper Talk. We have someone you've seen before. We have Trooper Hagstrom, and we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do for the Nevada State Police.
My name is Sergeant DiPilato. I'm a sergeant with the Dignitary Protection Detail of the Nevada State Police.
And you, sir, a returning guest and someone who's going to be here now with us weekly, because what it is that you do, please introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do for the Nevada State Police.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Trooper Villanova, Nevada State Police. I am the new sworn recruiter for Southern Command or Region 1. My job is to recruit people to come join us.
And having the sergeant here from his division,
Correct.
Really shows all the different things. We had the fire marshals here last week.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're highlighting the different things that the Nevada State Police does, right?
Right, yeah. So most of the time people just look at Nevada State Police as highway patrol or parole and probation. However, we have so many different divisions that we're able to transfer and go to when we kind of get stagnant in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. We're able to change careers a little bit and do something different in law enforcement wise.
And let's talk about you now. You ready?
Sure.
All right. When we think of someone that works for Nevada State Police, right, we think of someone that generally has a sidearm, that looks in an appearance like this, or the parole and probation where they have the patch that's sewn in. You know what I mean? These type of things. When you work, you don't wear these type of things. You look in a professional manner. So talk to us specifically about you. I'm very interested to learn how you got to where you are today.
Sure.
Right? And then talk to us about what it is that you do for the Nevada State Police with as much as you can share with us. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I leave the floor to you.
Absolutely. So I started with the Nevada Highway Patrol. I was a trooper on grave shift. I really enjoyed my time there. A couple years into my career, a position opened up for the Dignitary Protection Detail. And I wasn't exactly sure what they did. I kind of had an idea that they were kind of a protective detail for the governor and for some outside dignitaries. So I actually ended up putting my application in, went through an interview process. There was a couple different interviews involved, and I got selected. And originally, kind of my thought process was, I really enjoyed the road. I enjoyed patrol. I would do this, build my resume for a few years, and then come back to patrol. And kind of what happened was that I got selected for Dig Pro, joined, and my career kind of took off. And I really enjoyed it. I got into it. I enjoyed the guys. And then I ended up promoting within the department. And I've really enjoyed my time there so far. And I've kind of been given the keys and the freedom to build the team and maneuver the team in a way that I see fit. And like I said, I've really enjoyed my time there.
So the governor's a dear friend, and we appreciate the fact that there's people that are there to protect him and the outside dignitaries. From the dogs we had, right?
Yes.
And you have a lot of things that are at your resources, and a lot of those things most people don't see. Right? So we had the dog on here, and he goes before the governor goes anywhere. But nobody sees that, right? But that is a position within the Nevada State Police that maybe somebody might be interested, right? And so there's a lot of wonderful things and a lot of people that you that are underneath you that have a lot of wonderful positions as well, right?
Correct. So we're not a uniform division, right? We're completely plain clothes. We're always going to be in plain clothes. All our equipment will always be concealed. A lot of what we do is a lot of behind the scenes, the logistics involved, site surveys, advance reports, all that kind of stuff. No one really understands or sees what we do, but we need to prepare for whoever we're with to be in a location to make sure that it's completely as safe as possible as we can make it. So a lot of that stuff is behind the scenes.
Yeah. And how long have you been with the Nevada State Police?
Almost 6 years now.
6 years.
Yep.
And one of the things that is very important that we do is to always talk about the different recruiting aspects, because there's a lot of people that look up to the Nevada State Police, but maybe they're a little bit apprehensive on, can I do it or whatever, and that's why we like to show all the different aspects.
And we have so many different divisions. When those openings come open, then you just apply for it. And it's just like doing another job. One thing that the job that he holds is probably at the top level for Nevada State Police. And I'm going to say that because I've worked there before. And what people don't understand is on the federal level, Secret Service, these guys are at the state level, Secret Service. You know, they're doing the advanced work. And when I say advanced work, they're going out and checking places, making sure they're safe, all the safety routes. If something would happen where they needed to get the governor out, they're doing those advanced searches. They're also protecting the governor's family. And these are very, very important things for our state. And it takes top-level people to perform that job. And we're glad to have you on the show. And thanks for coming out.
Glad to be here.
So, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that it's very interesting. Okay, so I always see from over here, right? And everybody that's always over there, you can see the camaraderie and you can see the bond between you gentlemen. And that's one of the coolest things I always say, that people can feel through the television. You know what I mean? Like, if they believe, and most people do believe. But you can see the difference. He has so many things that he's thinking about from his crew, team,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? Like, and so, like, where I look over there and I see a wall that is green and black that has some stuff on there, you know what I mean? Because of the way that his mind has been trained, you can see that he looks at things in a completely different manner, and that's really wonderful, and it's really it's just fantastic to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and absolutely. One of the good things is he's only been on for 6 years, and he's doing a top-level job.
Right.
And and not only that, I want to add on too. Did you notice how he said when he worked on the patrol he missed, you know, the guys because camaraderie between his guys there. And he would definitely go back if he had to go back because he enjoyed it. But not only that, he's made his own spot with his own team now, and he loves it. And he's probably not going to leave for quite a while. you know what I mean? Because he's already got it set. He's already got him set the way he wants to do it. You know what? And the team's working efficiently, and he loves it. And that's one thing about Nevada State Police is because we're a smaller agency. Everybody works as a team, and like we've talked many times, if you have a supervisor such as himself, you have any questions or you need something that you want to take a school or anything else to learn more, they're there to back you up and help you out. So that's what's so great about Nevada State Police, because we're so close knit. Even our supervisors, we can talk to them. You know, we don't have to look at them like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this. If you have to go and talk to them right away, they're available all the time, and that makes it very convenient. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know
And I can't say enough about our team. These guys are a bunch of dogs, and they show up every day, great attitude, willing to work, willing to get better. So as part of our team, we have different standards that we've set for ourselves above the normal standards. We have a physical fitness qualification we have to commit every year, and we have a higher firearms standard that we hold ourselves to every year. So with that being said, we try to set ourselves up a little bit above just kind of the average trooper, so we can kind of be that forward-facing unit when we're out and in the public and doing things like that.
As they should.
And because I was just going to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do things that other people don't have to do.
One of the reasons they have these higher standards too is not only they're guarding the governor of this state, but they're also watching over dignitaries and heads of state that come to visit our state. Or if our governor's going to go visit other heads of states or go to other countries to visit, other sort like governors or presidential members or whatever, these guys go as a team with them. and they're the protection for them. So if we have visiting dignitaries coming over to Las Vegas to visit stuff and want to meet the governor, these guys are going to be there to actually protect them. So
And
they got to have those high standards.
And he drives the ghost car, which means they blow past him at 100 miles an hour. And they don't care,
they don't
right?
see him, right,
They don't
yeah.
care, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
It bothered me at first, but now I kind of
Right. All right, I want to get to some pictures, but I want to talk one more thing about the recruiting because something happened yesterday,
Right.
and I want to bring light to that. Okay.
Sure.
So I brought with me the newspaper for today, and it says fallen North Las Vegas officer.
Right.
So we've been doing the IPOF for the last 16 years. So I just wanted to get sort of a word from each one of you. We've never talked about Trooper Felix and Sergeant Abate. And I just want to start off with you and to the fact of that every single day that you put on that uniform, you are going out to protect and serve and do the best that you possibly can, but that you are putting your life at risk. And people, not all people can honestly understand what that feels like. And so again, we had a brother who lost his life, and so I'll start with you.
Yeah, so actually I was on scene the night of Sergeant Abate and Trooper Felix, so that hits extremely close to me. And part of the reason why I put on this uniform every single day is because of them. This is not an everyday, just kind of lackadaisical career. This is a very serious, but also rewarding career. I get to help people when they are at their lowest, and that gives me a certain drive and a certain feeling that just makes me want to continue doing it every single day. Because it's a brother in blue, right? It doesn't matter what agency you work for. We're all brothers and sisters on the blue side. So every time we lose somebody, it's a devastating loss for everybody, not just their department. And I can only imagine how those officers are feeling as well, because it's a huge loss.
Yeah, I think he hit the nail on the head there. Regardless of what department, what state, when an officer passes in the line of duty, we all feel that, right? We feel for their family, we'll feel for their close friends and everything around them. It's tragic and it sucks, and it's part of the job. And I think that kind of promotes a sense of pride when we are representing the state and our department and whatever department we're in. And
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his friends, and the North Las Vegas Police Department during this difficult time. And it is, like they say, a punch to the gut. We feel it also, even though he's not on our department. He's out there going above and beyond to serve his community and do what's right for the Las Vegas Valley. And we just want to say it's a tragic loss, and we're so sorry to hear about his loss.
Yeah. So we used to just talk, and then we found that by adding some pictures, it actually enhances the show, because then we can talk about different things. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Just as I shared with you that we didn't talk, you and I, before, I don't look at the pictures.
Okay.
Okay, and so one of the cool things that I didn't realize, but a lot of people find to be very interesting, is that nothing in this show is scripted. Johnny and I don't talk about the show beforehand or anything like that. Of these are the pictures we're going to put in, or you know what I mean? Because we want it to be 100% fresh and real. So let's see what we got here. Our hearts and prayers are with our brothers and sisters at the North Las Vegas Police Department and the family of the fallen officer. So, one of the things that we talk about that's very important is the badge, and what that badge actually means to you when you put on that uniform and that you have that. And I notice you have your pin, right, which I'm going to ask you about, and you gentlemen have your badge. Mm-hmm. And so and I'm sure you have one too. It's just probably somewhere tucked away that we can't see. Does that make sense? But it's very important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go through the academy, and you do this, you know, you get this at the end, just like both of you two have your Smokies, right? You always bring yours. Now he brings his. It's like fantastic, right? Talk to me about the badge, because I look at the badge here. I've met him many times. He always comes to all the fundraisers. And now we're doing a fundraiser for someone that's not here anymore. And again, not talking specifics about an investigation or anything like this, but he's not here because of someone took his life. Go.
Yeah, this is earned and not given. So, in order to be a trooper or parole and probation or Nevada State Police officer, you actually have to earn it. Nothing's given. It's something that is a desire. It takes a special person to be a state trooper or parole and probation officer. But it stands for honor, integrity, commitment to service for your community. And one of the big things that I have when I was at the governor's mansion over 20-some years ago, my mother got to pin this badge on me. I had a fiance at the time, but I really wanted my mother, because I was a deputy sheriff prior to that 8 years on a metropolitan sheriff's office, just like Metro. And always loved traffic, so I ended up committing myself out here to Las Vegas, mostly for drug interdiction and canine and stuff like that. We'll talk about that another time, but yeah, this badge means everything to me. This was my whole career, and like I said, we worked hard to do that. But not only are we professionals, but we've set our life for the service for community, and it means a lot to me, that badge.
I thought you were just 21. You now.
No, I kind of look like that. I
That's
kind of
what
look
I'm saying.
like that.
You know what I mean? Now you gave away your age. You know what I'm saying?
My wife would be kissing you, but
right,
you know, hey.
if not all the stripes there didn't give it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For you, sir.
Yeah.
What does this mean? And talk to us about the badge.
Yeah, I think it comes with a lot of pride. That means you've taken an oath and you've gone through specific training that you're going to put yourself in between the community and something terrible that might happen. And you go out every day and you put the badge on and you wear it with honor and you say you want to help people and you want to protect your community and you want to be a public servant. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And what does your pin mean?
So this is a lapel pin for our team. We wear it around town. A lot of it is so that other agencies can identify us as being plainclothes, carrying equipment, things like that.
Okay.
And then we have a different one that we'll wear out of state that other state details wear as well. That way we can all recognize each other and avoid any kind of blue on blue situation.
Yeah, it's cool. 'Cause I mean, you wouldn't think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that you know, all these things probably mean something. I'm sure your tie means something too. You know what I'm saying? You never know, right? For you, sir.
The badge means everything to me, especially it being a state police badge. That kind of just signifies to me that we're the best of the best in the state. But like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter what division or department you work for. We're all behind the badge, and we all wear it with honor and respect. We are the Department of Public Safety, so dedication, pride, and service is one of our biggest things, and there's a lot of us on the department that wear this badge with a lot of dedication, and we take so much pride in our service. And we go out there every single day and do the best that we can.
Yeah. So I wanted to, say that our hearts and prayers are with him, and that we never want any officer to pass in any aspect. You know what I mean? Right. And so it's very important. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see what this one is. Toys for Kids.
Las Vegas, absolutely.
You ever notice? You'll notice this more. In every picture, his Mustang.
It has to be.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know what? I try to get other cars in there, Neil. I try to get other cars, but I'm the only one that's taking that. So you know what I mean. And those guys actually, after I got done, they wanted to film and take other pictures. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. So no, this was just yesterday, and these gentlemen here work for Toys for Kids. They're volunteers. It's a nonprofit charitable organization. And what they did is they made 120 of these small toys. We had another picture for it, Johnny, but I don't know where it's at that we sent in there.
After this?
It had the little pictures, but you could probably see a little bit. They have
Oh, they make
handmade
the toy cars.
Little toy cars. So what they did is they gave every trooper a packet of like 7 cars inside the package. So whether our troopers are on a traffic stop or a crash or a community event where there's small children, that they can give out a car or something. And let's say that some children are involved in a crash, they're not hurt, and they're going to be there with their parents, because that's a tragic event. Nobody likes to get in a crash, and it's probably at their worst time. They can give this to kids, or sometimes we have teddy bears or stuff to give to kids like that. So they donated 120 of these cars to us yesterday. And what a tremendous job. I mean, it's nonprofit. These guys just do it. They're retirees, and they enjoy just making these wooden toys. And one thing about it is the kids could actually chew on these, and it's like made with mineral oil, so nobody gets hurt. You know what I mean? There's no rough edges. Kids aren't going to swallow something. You know what I mean? It's something that they really took their time to do for their community, and they thought that that would be a great time to give it out to the troopers, so that we could hand it out to other kids.
Yeah. The Nevada State Police does so many wonderful things throughout the entire year that most people don't ever see. And so one of the best parts about the Trooper Talk is the fact that we get to showcase all these wonderful things that he goes on, and that all the other troopers go on, and all the different recruiting events. You know, I mean, it's really a wonderful organization. And so when we talk about your position of being a sergeant, one of the things that is really wonderful is the leadership of the Nevada State Police. Now, we've never met, and I don't know the leadership above you and things of that nature, but from down here, when the major's here and the captain's here and the lieutenant colonel, I mean, they are so gracious to always give their time that you don't have to be here. And so for you to come here in your position and not just send someone else, it's like so cool. And it just shows again that the leadership of the Nevada State Police is willing to come and sort of put themselves out. You didn't know what this was going to be like, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, you know, you're just like, okay, Trooper Hagstrom keeps calling me, and I'm going to come. But, like, okay, I don't know what this is going to be like. But, like, it's very important because the Nevada State Police has wonderful leadership, and you exemplify that.
I try to make sure that my team is always put first and no one is above the team. I grew up playing sports, so that was always very important to me. Being part of a team, camaraderie, working together, helping each other get better at what we do every single day and improving. That's all that is very important, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
And if I can ask, before you, without going into so much depth, and if you want to, you can, before you did the Nevada State Police, what was your sort of work history? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you do before that?
So law enforcement was actually kind of my third career. Originally, what I went to school for, which a lot of people laugh at, I worked on golf courses. My degrees are in turf grass and soil science.
That's cool, so you know how to do that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually ended up at the #1 golf course in the world, Pine Valley, which is in New Jersey.
Okay.
As an assistant superintendent, and anyway, and then from that.
No, I want to know that. So what I'm saying is, so you went to school for that.
Correct.
And so what? There's a science to the turf and stuff of the moisture of. Yeah. I want to know. So explain that.
Yep. So
see, we always learn something on Trooper Talk. You never know what you're going to hear.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't understand, but there's a lot of science that goes in between growing grass, and especially for golf courses where it's very high maintenance. Right, you're cutting the grass very low. There's a lot of pressure on it from traffic of golfers and everything like that, and there's diseases and insects and all kinds of things that affect how well the turf can perform, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you went to school for that.
Correct.
And then you did that, and then you wanted something different?
Yeah, law enforcement for me was always kind of that thing. If I had to go back and do it again, that's probably what I would have done. And while I was in that career, I did really well and I enjoyed it. But it's a grind. It's 70, 80 hours a week from March until November. and it's a lot. And I kind of realized, is this how I want to spend the rest of my life? And I wasn't sure that's what I wanted. So I ended up kind of transitioning to the casino industry. I went into nightlife and casino security. So I ran security for a couple of nightclubs in Atlantic City, ended up transferring out here to Las Vegas through that, and then eventually applied for Nevada Highway Patrol and got hired.
Okay. Officer McClarty, who's now the corporal for the training, right? So he's, which is very cool because anybody who comes on the show always gets promoted. I don't know how much more I don't know how much more promotion he can get, but certainly for you, I hope you're here for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
We're hoping.
But the thing is that he was in the casino industry, right, and not doing the nightclubs, but working there, and he transitioned to the Nevada State Police, right, and so again, here's someone that was not in the industry,
Right.
who was doing something completely different, but just out of his own mouth, always thought that this might be something that would be interesting. And these are the type of people we're looking for recruitment. But people have to know that not everyone gets in. Right, and so there's different types of things. There's polygraphs, there's backgrounds, there's physical fitness, and that's not even taking your stuff to the next level. Right. Talk to us about that, and then talk to us about the recruitment.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you don't have to have a law enforcement background. You don't have to have any kind of prior experience to join the Nevada State Police. You come to the academy and we will turn you into a police officer and train you how to be safe and how to go out onto the street and handle every day-to-day calls. However, it is a lengthy process and it's not easy, but it is doable, and we will do everything that we can to get you through that through the academy process. But it is quite a lengthy process for multiple reasons. You have to go through background checks, you have to do the physical and the written test, and then you have to go through your polygraph stages where it's essentially a lie detector test, and they kind of dig into your history. And then after that, you have to go through a psychological testing with a doctor to make sure that your brain is good and your mental health is okay to become a law enforcement officer. And then you have to go through like your medical testing. They check your hearing, your eye test, your internal stuff like heart and lungs and whatnot. And then only then will you be offered a spot at one of our academies up north or down south, just depending on what we have available.
So you have to be 21 years to join,
Right.
but you can start applying at 20 and a half.
Correct.
So that when you're 21, you can, go through the academy, right?
Correct.
And then one of the other things that's very cool is that they do not have an upper age limit.
Right.
As long as you can pass these tests. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So we don't have a max age requirement. You can join if you are well within your 50s and you feel like you want a change of career, go ahead and join us. As long as you're able to pass our physical fitness testing and our written testing and all the other testings that we have, you're more than welcome to join us. And like I said, we will teach you how to be a law enforcement officer.
Can I add on too?
Yeah.
I knew you were probably going to get to me next.
No, I was going to say about the lateral move, which is what you came.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Not only lateral, but I'm going to go over when we're talking about age. There's no age limit for us as long as you can pass the test.
What are you,
and you can do
22 now?
everything. But yeah, absolutely. So you know what? One of the things I want to tell people out there is when I was going to the academy, a person that applied with us and was in my academy class was 64 years old.
Right.
He was a professor at USC, in charge of the department, his own department for language or whatever, and probably making $250,000, $300,000. You're thinking, why does this guy want to be a trooper? But the whole time, he always wanted to be a state trooper, and he had pretty much he already had tenure at USC, and his wife was also a teacher. She had a little bit. She got a job out here in Vegas, so he went ahead after his dream at 64 and passed through our academy. And he was physically fit. Right. He was very smart, and he worked as a trooper on the road for like 3 years, and then he went to Capitol Police and worked there for several years or whatever. So it can be done. I mean, if you can pass the physical and do all the other stuff, the age limit, I just want to tell people there's really no age limit as long as you can pass all the required tests.
Yeah, like I said, it's not
It's
easy,
like-
but it's doable.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And if you're dedicated and you want to do that, and you've always thought in your life, oh, my career is kind of like at a dead end, and I want to do something different. We're always hiring. NevadaStatePolice.com. Go to NevadaStatePolice.com. We're also doing what you brought up, laterals. I mean, if you're at another department and you want to, if this looks like something you want to do, like I was on a major department where we did everything, a Metropolitan Police Department. I love traffic, so that's why I came more to the Highway Patrol Division. But let's say after a while that, 5 or 6 years in, you don't want to do the traffic as much. Is an opening in parole and probation, or governor's detail, or state fire marshal, or Capitol Police. You have that choice of making those changes in your life. So that's really what's really nice about our department. But there's a bunch of other things that I can add on too. You got a
Yes.
take-home car. No, most agencies you don't get a take-home car. That's your office. So that car nobody else uses, and you can set it up the way you want to, and you hit on duty on the job from your driveway. And then when you come back home after that day, you hit off, and you're not taking that hour drive or half an hour drive to go to the police station. I used to have to do that, and you had to take all your gear out of your personal car. Try to get a nice car because you always want to get there first, because these cars get run 24/7. Trust me, and some of these cars you don't want to be in. So you're like, because some people are kind of messy, they don't keep it as clean. I'm gonna be honest. So you're loading your gear back up in there, and you're already wasting like an hour, trying to put gear in here and there, and then you got another hour drive home where you don't have that. You have your own personal office and your own car going to and from. Another thing I want to hit too is if you're in the military, we got that bridge program, which you can kind of talk a little bit more on it. But if you're transitioning out, don't want to do military service, but this is something that you want to do, you can work with our recruiter and the military, and you within 6 months before you getting out, you can start working on that phase, moving into our department and getting ready for all the testing and everything. So these are a lot of options that are out there, and that's why I tell people, if you want to explore it, go to NevadaStatePolice.com. You can call us, look up the recruiter. We'll set up a ride-along. And there's not a lot of places to do that, but we want you to go do a ride-along and see if this is really the job that you want to do. And we would love people to come out and check us out. And if you want to be part of the team, one of Nevada's finest, Nevada State Police,
Right.
go to NevadaStatePolice.com, because that's what we're about here.
And 6 years, well, not 6 years. So what is it? A couple years ago, right? The pay wasn't so great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, but everybody stood by, and everybody said, okay, we're in this for the long term, even though the pay is not as good as other agencies within the state. And now, number one, that has been fixed. Now there is extra, what do you call it?
Incentives.
Incentive, like if you speak Spanish, and, you know what I mean, and all that, and you get that type of, not you. I'm saying, I'm not asking about you personally, but I'm saying like there's special incentives for your team, right? For that do special things and things
Correct.
of that nature, that they're able to receive some of these as well, right?
Our guys are covered by the same CBA as troopers and parole and probation officers.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's wonderful.
Right.
Right? You answered that. See how eloquently he answered that? Like
He's a sergeant.
Yeah, he knew. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? In those incentives too, when you come on, they'll give you like for the bilingual pay, you'll get like a 5%.
Right.
Or let's say that you work graveyards or a swing shift where it's like off hours, you get paid for that. There's also if you're a college graduate, they give that incentive, right?
Yep.
So you get extra money for that. So there's different perks also that go on top of that, and that's what we want people to know
And
too.
the PIO's one too.
No, that's a set thing for me. I'm coming back. I'm not really. I'm full time, but I'm not really like, the.
We love it that you're here and that you keep bringing everyone here. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
Because
sure.
it's the most wonderful thing ever.
And you know
I
what?
mean?
And what's so great is the public gets to know what the Nevada State Police is all about, and it's just not troopers and parole and probation officers. We
Yes.
have so many different divisions, and this is one of the great things that I want to bring to people's attentions, because, you know, they probably didn't even know this even existed. You know, the governor's detail and like state fire marshal. Who knew that they had an arson dog? How cool is that? You know what I mean? And all the schooling that they have to go through. People don't realize there's so much training, but there's so much liability too. And that's why we want to be the best on our game during the job. So this is why we have to do this for the betterment of our community.
You know, it's cool. So when Governor Sisolak, when he used to come to the events and things like that, you know, the security detail would always show up, right? And then when Governor Lombardo, comes to the store. He came to the store maybe a little bit ago, and like, you know, there was somebody that came in. You know, you don't see these things because there's so many things behind the scenes,
Sure.
right? But you have to be 100% fluid. So if you are not 100% on top of your game, and your team is not 100%, then there could be something that could be missed. And you know, like I always say, you know, the speeders and the impairment and all these type of people, you know, they need to be wrong one time and they kill people. And it's the same in your line of work, right? If you miss something, there could be tragic circumstances, and nobody wants that on your watch.
Sure. Luckily, we work very well together as a team, and that makes up for a lot of that, right? We need to make sure that we're all on point and we're all in communication with what's going on and be able to change our plans in an instant, because we don't know what's going to happen or where it's going to happen or what could happen. So we need to be able to adapt on the fly and change things at all times.
And that's something that you learned.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, again, you may have known that your whole life. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in your mind, right? Like, I believe that we just have to open these things. But, like, that's something that you've learned over time. And it's like you said, you know, 6 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to see, again, where you were probably 6 years ago to where you are today, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably an astonishing thing, just because I look at it, which is the coolest thing, is that you're in plain clothes.
Oh, and he didn't want to be stagnant either.
You
You
know
know,
what I mean?
he's actually wanted to be
Propelling,
a
right?
law
Right.
enforcement professional that wants to exceed in his career, and he's going to do what it takes to excel. And in order to be a top performer, you have to put in the work, you know. So that's something that he's done, and it's doable. I tell people, you know, a lot of times you can't get into some of these specialty jobs unless you've done 3 years on the road or whatever, because you got to really know your job before you start going to these other specialty jobs. I've always said that. And one good thing is this just shows you somebody with 6 years on, he's at the top level performance.
Right. No,
already.
it's
You know what I
fantastic.
mean? So.
And I want to get to the next picture, but you know, this is something that we continuously talk about from a recruiting standpoint. You know, put in your time, start at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Right.
And maybe some people don't have to start at the bottom, but start at the bottom, and you know, there's a tremendous career. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
again, I'm not asking your age, but what I'm saying is that, you know, there's retirement. There's these type of things that we can work towards to have a fantastic career. You know, when we go to the ceremonies, you know, there's people all the time, 20 years, 25 years, you know, like not 4 years, 3, you know, and so people are continuously exceeding because they think it's just a wonderful place to work. And the ones that we've seen that do the retirement, they're always crying, but they're crying because they're going to miss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so Nevada State Police is just a wonderful place. All right.
Okay, this is something I wanted to bring up. You know, this last week, we had some high wind advisories across northern and central Nevada. And these winds are so tremendous. Like, if you get in between, like, mountain passes, and there'll be signs. There'll be these wind alert signs will be on. They get these gusts that come through these valleys and can blow over our semi-trucks and everything else. So we said from now on, we're going to try to put something that we want the public to know about. And this is, you know, last week we did the traffic break. You know, what's this mean and everything. So I say if you're come across these wind hazards coming up, use caution. Always have your headlights on. If it gets too, see how windy that is? You can't even see the roadway in front of you. Keep your lights on, pull off the side of the road until that windstorm passes. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Another thing is always keep both hands on the steering wheel. If something blows in front of your vehicle, don't panic. You're gonna have to strike it, piece of debris or whatever. It's better than going into the next lane and causing a major crash. So people just have to be aware when these winds pick up. Always kind of watch before. We always talked about plan ahead before you go on some of these trips, because this is what can happen. We've been having up northern and central Nevada. They're almost like whiteouts. You know how they talk about blizzards?
Yeah.
We're getting that with these sandstorms and winds up there. So people have to really use caution when traveling.
We'll name this segment the Hagstrom view or something.
No,
right,
no,
Donnie?
that's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
But
Yes.
it's very important because
Absolutely.
we learned about the traffic breaks because everybody keeps calling and they
Sure.
and they don't understand.
They don't
what it is.
understand.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
get
I
it.
mean?
I get it.
And
They had to show
so
a video.
when it comes to this, I thought when it was windy, you're supposed to cut in front of the tractor trailers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so-
another thing is don't fall so close, because people will try to be right behind them. The
Yeah.
block that wind or snow. You want to actually be farther, because you don't know if they can't stop on a dime, but when they do stop, you're going to be right in the back end of them, and you're going to cause another crash. And what if there's a semi behind you between that? You know? So you always got to use caution, but don't get right behind them. They got that no zone we've talked about, where you get out and they can't see you even in their rear view mirrors, because you're too far. Too close. They're always looking at that farther distance. So you really got to use caution when passing semis or even following them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you in your position? Do you drive a lot?
Yeah, so looking at the map of Nevada, I think one of the most underrated bonuses of our team is the fact that we've seen pretty much every corner of Nevada. I'm not from here, but I consider Nevada my home now.
Okay.
And so I've gotten to travel throughout the state and see places like Oahe and Elko and Ely and Winnemucca and Fallon and Fernley and all these great places that if I probably just lived in Las Vegas, I never would have seen. And I think it's very cool. I think it's a great state to live in, and I think there's a lot of variancy between North and South and Central Nevada, and I think it's good for everyone to kind of see it all, because it's all very beautiful and very majestic, and some of the landscape up there in Elko and Oahe is unbelievable.
And working for the Nevada State Police, you could transfer anywhere you want.
Exactly.
That's
Right?
true. That's true.
And
absolutely.
so you can work down south,
Right.
and then you can decide that you want to go up north or to the more rural areas, right? We know that Pahrump and these type of places that that they work closely with the local law enforcement, right? Because there's not as many people there. But
Right.
this is something that Nevada State Police does. We heard it from him, from the sergeant, from the fact of being fluid and ever changing, right? And to be a Nevada State Police officer, people do crazy things. You know what I mean? And so you could walk up to a car, and although you might be able to pull up everything about person X in that car, you don't know what person X is going through 4 hours ago. And so this person could be a total different personality than everything that we're reading. And so you always have to be on top of your game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, it's not an easy career, and we train you, and we kind of go through scenarios during the academy, and we get you to think differently. We can't think of every traffic stop to be the same. We can't get complacent, is what we tell the cadets going through the academy, because once you get complacent, that's something that can seriously harm you or somebody else out on the road. You can't take just a simple traffic stop for granted. You can't think that this is just another traffic stop and then the next one and then the next one. You can't think that way. You don't know what's going on inside that car, like you stated. That person could be going through the worst time of their life, And not even just the academy. After the academy, you're still learning and you're still training. There's still various trainings that will go back to leadership. Our leadership always wants us to be the best, and they push for us to go to trainings and to continue our career and to continue striving forward. And they don't ever want us to get stagnant. So Nevada State Police always pushes for us to be our best and to go out there and be safe and help the motoring public.
When we went to the the last ceremony, right? I forget what happened, but a lot of the guys were training in the room or whatever next door, right? And so they all came in. You know what I mean? Because I forget the one. He was I think he was part of the investigations, and he was there for 15 or 20 years, and he had gotten an award. I forget what it was for. They were like, no, he's training. You know what I mean? Next door. And then all of a sudden, like 3 minutes later, he, go get him. You know what I mean? And so they came back in and they brought him in, right? And so you looked at it and you were like, well, he's training, right? Like, part of the investigations is the fact that they're not just driving around, just, they have nothing better to do in their life. And, they're just trying to figure out what's going on. No, they're training because they want to make themselves better. They want to make the team better, right? And when it comes to the leadership, I think it's wonderful to say that.
Right.
Because the leadership of the Nevada State Police is just the interconnectivity between a trooper and someone of a higher status of rank. It doesn't... It matters in certain applications, but in certain applications it doesn't make a difference because you're all part of the same. And so it is really important, and it's something that, that we talk about, which is that if you are someone that is brand new and you have a question, like I think it's really cool that the lieutenant colonel sends everybody a text message on their birthday.
Yeah, that's
right. And so who does that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who has the time to do that? And the answer is someone that cares about the people that are below him to make sure that this is a special day or this is a special moment, and I want to make sure.
Yeah.
And so, it you know what I mean? Like, it's very cool. And so it takes a lot to be a leader of the Nevada State Police, right?
Sure, and I think training is very undervalued. The good part about our team is we will send you to outside training. We've had guys go to protection schools in California Highway Patrol, Colorado State Patrol, State Department, U.S. Marshals, Texas DPS. We're always going to send our people out to different training so they can bring different ideas that other states are doing or maybe have evolved back to us, and we can decide what works best for us and what will fit within our team environment. And I've been able to do a couple of different trainings that have been very helpful, and I think part of that is very good because it makes us all better, right? We can't just rely on our department training. We need to go outside and look for other training that's going to help us improve and get better all around.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? And again, in your department, in your area, do you have civilians that work for that, or someone is just a sworn officer?
No, just one.
Just sworn officer. Okay. But there's so many positions that are unsworn that we're always looking for within parole and probation, with the dispatcher, right? Got to hit the dispatcher. I mean, he says it all the time that if we didn't keep saying, but it's important because here's the thing. When you go out and you need someone, the dispatcher is there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's our lifeline.
And so it's very, very important.
And we're also hiring administrators.
Right.
So, if you want to do administrative jobs, we have people that do arrest reports, or we do so many crashes in the valley, so we have to have people that, input certain things, or they're redacting information because, if, let's say, an agency wants to get your information on the crash, they're not going to give out your date of birth and all the information on everything that's vital to you unless they have permission prior to that.
And so we have to make sure that we're doing the best due diligent job we can. And the people that were there in the administrative behind, they were also gracious. You know what I'm saying? Like they were laughing with Johnny and I, and you know what I'm saying? it was very, very cool. You know what I'm
They
saying?
think it's cool when you're coming down to visit. So
Oh, really?
yeah, they like
we
that.
love it. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
awesome. Yeah.
Johnny and I have the very unique opportunity that we get to film every single
Ceremony.
ceremony and stuff like this, and so it's very cool. It's very special, and so we just enjoy to come there. And then we always get to interview the major there. He's never said no. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really special. And so look at this. Nevada State Police.
It's Canine Summit.
Okay. So the canine is an important part of every law enforcement agency because they can do things that humans can't do. So you did the canine. I have a very special picture in my store of you with the canine that you wrote to me. And so this was something that you did in your prior law enforcement area. And you know how important the canine is to the Nevada State Police.
Oh, absolutely. You know, these are not only just our partners, they're officers too. You know, they go through various training. They, you know, we're going to bring some more canines in the future on the show too, but before we even get these dogs, they get selected very early as puppies, and they look for hunt drive, which means that they have that certain drive that they're always going to be seeking, and not only to get appreciated by their handler themselves, but they always have that drive to look at what they're training for, whether it's drugs, explosives, arson, you know, incendiaries that cause arson or whatever. So in the Nevada State Police, we have these dogs throughout the whole state. This is just not down here in Southern Command. These are dogs working all over the state. And what a tremendous asset for the Nevada State Police. You know, just to give you an example, let's say that we're doing a traffic stop and something's out of the ordinary. And, you know, you have to have probable cause to make that stop in the first place. We can't just say, hey, this guy looks like he has drugs, or we can't profile. We can't, you know, how a lot of these drugs and stuff get caught is because it's multiple traffic stops and things don't add up. And what they'll do is, let's say they deny a search because the trooper notices that things aren't coordinating right here, and they say, hey, do you mind if we search a car? And they say no. This dog is probable cause because it's trained in narcotics. And it has all the certifications, gone through all the courses and everything, and it's recorded through the state and certified through the state. So that dog is probable cause to search the car if they alert to the car. And once they alert on that car, they're able to search that vehicle and get the drugs or whatever they're looking for. Let's say if it's where they're investigating arson in the state, and they have state fire marshal uses their dog that they're looking for incendiary that started the fire. That is another tool to help them along with their investigation. So these dogs are so powerful for us and such a good incentive for us to do our job. And they are also officers because of the training they go through and everything else. They're just like us. They're a very valuable asset for the Nevada State Police.
And we had from the Capitol Police the dog, right?
We did. Sawyer, absolutely.
Yep,
Everybody
so-
loves Sawyer.
Yep. So Sawyer in the south, Honey in the north are integral parts of our team. They'll
Uh-huh.
do sweeps for events for us, and their handlers are great, and we're proud to have them as part of our team.
But it's very important because for your line of work, you, again, coming back to the earlier thing where you need to be 100% every single time, there are things that they can do that a human can't do.
Absolutely.
And so it's an integral part of the team, right, to go out and do these type of activities to make sure. And I will tell you that when Sawyer came here, I mean, lovable, friendly, I mean, like just fantastic. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. And so this is something that, as part of your team, is really wonderful.
Absolutely. And like I said, the dogs couldn't be sweeter. Sawyer and Honey, They're very personable, but they are very good at what they do, and they're trained very well, and they practice all the time. And they, like I said, they're gonna, if something's there, they're gonna spot it that we're not gonna be able to spot, and so that's why it's so important.
Yeah. Canines, right? Like, this is another thing. Nevada State Police, you're interested in this. You have to put in your time, right? Like, we have to always tell people that you have to put in your time with the Nevada State Police in the beginning. And if you put in your time for the Nevada State Police in the beginning, there are tremendous opportunities to do so many different things. Just like the sergeant alluded to the fact of, there's so many different things in the state that that are so cool that you wouldn't normally see, but that when you put that patch on, that you are allowed, taking your line, that you are allowed to go anywhere in the state.
Correct.
And if there was a tragedy in the upper part of northern Nevada, you know what I mean? They could call state troopers from down here and say, we need you to come up here because you are a state trooper. You're not just in a designated area.
Right. We joke all the time. We tell people to look at our patches. It's in the shape of Nevada, and that is our entire jurisdiction. And that's one of the coolest things about working for Nevada State Police. You can do so much traveling, and not only just for the job, but if you wanted to go do trainings, our command is more than willing to send you out of state to go to different trainings and do different things to propel your career forward. I mean, like the sergeant was saying, they go out of state to do their trainings as well. So it's really cool just to have that leadership and that push to go to trainings and be able to travel to go up north. If there's events up north that you want to attend, you can go up north. If there's people from up north that want to come down south, they're more than welcome to come as well. But yeah, if anything were to happen up north, we are called and we can go up as well because it's our jurisdiction.
And when is the next recruiting thing? February?
So we actually have a testing event this Saturday, but our next one will be February 22nd, and then tentatively we have March 15th and March 22nd scheduled.
Okay. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they just go to Nevada State Police, they get a hold of you, and you can make arrangements, to help them.
Yep.
Because you want to see them through.
Correct.
As long as they, want to do it for themselves, right?
And a lot of people get really stressed out about the physical fitness testing. I offer people to come to the academy. We have a gym there, and I will give them some pointers and tips on how to prepare themselves to pass the physical fitness testing.
We need someone that is going to go out and, go to different events and things of this nature and try to get as many qualified people as we possibly can, because we need more.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And it comes back to the fact that you've been here for 6 years and you started off as a trooper for 3 years, and that you did things before, not in a bad way, I'm not saying it like that, but you did things before that were not on this career path, but you are now.
Correct. And I think that extra life experience just made me a better cop. Dealing with people, talking to people, working in the nightclub, casino industry, you're dealing with intoxicated people all the time. And I think all that together just made me better at what I do.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine being in the nightclub industry. I can only.
I do it for so long. I tell you.
I come on here and talk every single week about being, with the impaired drivers and the speeding drivers and all this type of stuff. I couldn't imagine being like, okay, I'm going to go to work tonight. I hope I don't run into too many hundreds of intoxicated people, but it's important because the life experience is a great thing to talk about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it makes you not only a better person, but it makes you a better supervisor, and therefore, better for the Nevada State Police for the longevity. Do you have like a lieutenant and a captain and a chief and all that stuff?
So we're our own separate division, but our upper command is with the Capitol Police. So we report to Lieutenant of Capitol Police and the Chief of Capitol Police.
Okay, that's very cool. It's an amazing. It's an amazing little thing, you know what I'm saying?
We're glad to get him on.
Right,
I mean,
but it's what we need. And this whole time, he laughed the whole time, but believe me, he looks very serious, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what this means? I stumped you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That means it's over. Okay. Ah, what did you think of that, huh? Here's the thing. When we asked you to come on, we wanted to share you. We wanted to share your stories. We wanted to share about your team, right? I love how you keep stressing that. You know what I mean? And I'm using that because it's really fantastic. You know what I mean? Because not one time it was I. It was no. We're a team, and so I say the same about my store. I say the same about what we do here. And the Nevada State Police is just the most wonderful family, and they are a big team. And that if you need something from someone, you can always pick up the phone and make a phone call. And so it doesn't matter how long you've been in Nevada State Police, they're always willing to help, to do, and to send you, obviously, to different places to further your career, because they want everyone to be as safe as they can in the state of Nevada. And unfortunately, there's bad people, which we didn't get a chance really to talk about, but the impairment and the speeding and these people doing ridiculous activities of driving 108 miles an hour and not caring at all, that we need well-qualified people to administer all these different things so that we can all stay safe in the state, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We're gonna continue this next week because we have one of our greats coming in, Sergeant Donaldson, and then we can talk a little bit about impaired driving and all these other aspects that we're talking about, distractive driving, reckless driving. We'll get into all that this coming week.
Next
So
week.
everybody that's watching.
Sergeant
Then next
Donaldson.
week, Sergeant Donaldson.
He's a legend. Did you know that?
I did not.
let me tell you. I'll tell you the funny story. Okay. So the customer comes into the store, and her daughter is the chief of police in Washington, where Sergeant Donaldson was there, and the parents watch Trooper Talk.
Okay.
And so they saw Trooper Donaldson, because he was a trooper before then. And they said, oh, there's this great TV show. It's called Trooper Talk, blah, blah, blah. And they told the daughter, and she said, yeah, this Trooper Donaldson was on there. And she goes, he is a legend. He catches more DUIs than anyone and all this type of stuff. And so it's very funny because now he made the sergeant. And all the time I tell him the same thing. I go, you're when he comes on, I go, you're a legend. and he laughs and he jokes. But the thing is that, like, he shows up late to come to Trooper Talk only because he caught 3 people doing DUIs that night.
In one night.
In one night.
Yeah.
And so one of the funny things is that when he was first on, when this happened, I said to him, so what's jail like? And he looked at me and he was like, No, I'm not saying you were in jail. I'm just saying when you take people, And so, but anyway, you're a legend as well.
Thank you, sir.
But I thank you very much for spending time with us. I said it in the beginning and I say it at the end. You could be anywhere and you could have just said I'm not coming in, and you know what I mean. And it means so much to all of us. And Trooper Hagstrom's really trying. You know what I mean? He's really trying to showcase different people in the Nevada State Police, and so it just means so much. And I thank you for allowing some parts of the team, you know what I mean, and all this type of stuff to come in and spend time with us, because we, just like you, only want to show everybody in the best light, because we want good qualified people to be here. So
Sure. No, thank you. And I think the gentlemen to each of my left and right are great ambassadors for our department, and they couldn't be doing a better job at what they do in progressing our department forward and getting the word out there and hopefully growing it here in the near future.
yeah, I agree with you, and I thank you. For you, we're just getting to that place of you being here,
Right.
but it's fantastic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you're with the hair and the, you know what I mean, and all this, and it's funny because every time I look at him, I think it was Officer McClarty. I'm not positive.
You got to have that certain look. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Well, and not only that, but he specifically said that when you go to the academy, that if there is a string that is off of your uniform, like that, like it starts with the string. Like if you allow a string to be tangling from your uniform and it doesn't matter, well then you're going to go to a traffic stop and you're going to forget to load your weapon. Like all these
Right.
things happen.
Attention to detail.
Attention to detail.
And
so
you already got that from
Yeah.
Marine Corps?
Yeah.
First instilled that in?
Right. And
Just
so it's
so it carries
wonderful.
on.
And every time I look at him, I see the same exact thing because he's so like, it's like he's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we need,
Absolutely.
because to be a Nevada State Police officer, we need perfection. And this is what we strive for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I say it all the time. I think we have the best troopers and officers that work for Nevada State Police in the entire state. I think we are the best, and we strive for that every single day throughout our academy, our trainings, and our leadership. And I think that's reflected on every day-to-day business, what we handle every day.
And tell them where they need to go for the
NevadaStatePolice.com. Reach out to us. Reach out to me. I will help you start your career.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay.
Thanks,
Now we
sir.
can turn towards this last camera. You ready? And then we're just going to wave, okay? All right, see you later.
Bye, guys.
Nice.